Right now at 5, history repeats.
You know, you don't sleep nights because of it.
She put a killer away nearly 20 years ago.
He got out and was, able to do this again.
The plea deal that made it possible and the work happening now to put him away for good. Plus, the family left behind after losing 3 of their own.
There is no sense, there's no logic, there's just pain and there's just sadness and horror, anger.
Live from 7 Burlington Station, this is Omaha's news leader. KETV NewsWatch 7 at 5.
It may be a matter of hours before the man charged with murder makes his way back to Omaha. John Dalton Jr. waived his extradition today in front of a Tennessee judge. U.S. Marshals captured him there on Wednesday.
And back here, a city is still reeling from that triple homicide, and a family is left with shattered lives. John Dalton Jr. is the sole suspect in the brutal murders of his parents and his teenage niece.
We just received a statement from the family expressing gratitude for the outpouring of love and support. It reads in part, "Our family has experienced heart-shattering grief, but we will not be broken. John, Jean, and Liana were examples of love and strength personified, and we will continue to live by those values."
Right now, loved ones and friends are starting to gather for a prayer walk in honor of those 3 victims. It's happening right at the home where that gunfire claimed their lives. KETV NewsWatch 7's Michelle Bandor begins our live team coverage at 5.
Well, listen, David, that prayer walk is set to start here at 5:30 outside the Dalton home, and there are people that are starting to gather here. We have many family members and friends and loved ones who are showing up at the home. We've seen a lot of hugs and thank yous this evening. Now, one of John and Jean Dalton's relatives, who is one of the first responders putting on the prayer vigil, asked the family if it would be okay to pray her tonight, and as you can tell, they have agreed to that. Tila Mickles says her cousin John Dalton went by the nickname Jackie, and she says the Daltons were all about family. They had 4 children of their own, including the shooting suspect, John Dalton Jr.
We're trying to just hold each other up in support and love and care. Nobody has an answer. Nobody gets it. We just know that we miss them. They're amazing people. And this is just a very sad, tragic thing that makes no sense.
And Mickles tells us that the couple also raised their son's children after John Dalton Jr. killed his wife and went to prison in the late 90s. Now, again, that prayer vigil is set to start here outside the Dalton home near 37th and Spalding at 5:30. And we do have many friends and family members already showing up. We, of course, will be here ourselves, and we'll bring you more of that coming up tonight at 6 and, of course, at 10 o'clock. Reporting live, Michelle Bandor, KETV NewsWatch 7.
Michelle, thank you. And when John Dalton Jr. killed his wife, Shannon, back in 1998, Omaha prosecutors put him in prison.
He served 11 years on a manslaughter charge thanks to a plea deal. 7 years later, one of those same prosecutors explains how it happened and the new case ahead.
KETV NewsWatch 7's Taylor Barth is live. Taylor?
Douglas County Chief Deputy Attorney Brenda Beadle prosecuted John Dalton Jr.'s case 18 years ago. He was originally facing second-degree murder charges, but Beadle says she reached a plea deal with the defense, dropping that charge down to manslaughter and adding 2 other felony charges. All of it carried a max sentence of 90 years. The deal meant Dalton Jr.'s 6-year-old daughter wouldn't have to testify in court. Beadle says she felt good about the plea deal, but not the shorter 20 to 30-year sentence given by the judge.
Obviously, if I knew that he was going to get the sentence he got and that he would get out and do this again, obviously that's not something I would do or be okay with.
The 46-year-old appeared in Madison County Court in Tennessee this morning, waiving extradition. The Fugitive Task Force will bring him back to Nebraska, and Beadle says he'll likely be in court sometime next week. Melissa, back to you.
Taylor, thank you. At just 18 years old, one of Liana Dalton Phillips' biggest joys was her drill team at Burke High. And in the wake of her death, Liana's teammates say they won't let her legacy die. Here's KETV NewsWatch 7's Waverly Monroe.
You don't realize how much you love somebody until they're gone.
The news is still tough to bear for Burke High School's drill team, the loss of a bright young woman.
When I think of her and reading some of her readings, I think courage was really important to her.
Burke principal Gay Lannon says Liana was the glue to the drill team.
It's so unreal. Like, they always say tomorrow's not promised, and I never took it serious until this happened because it's so hard.
Maya Howard was co-captain with Liana, and her team left with unanswered questions.
Like, why her?
Remembering Liana the best way they can.
Turn, hair flip.
By dancing and promising to always remember.
People don't forget who she was and how amazing she was and very part of our lives a lot.
Like, keep her in mind all the time. Just make sure she's always there, have something to remember her by.
How they would do things differently.
You know, if I would have known that that was the last time that I would have seen her, you know, I would have, like, probably gave her a hug.
And what they would say to her now.
Love you, Liana.
Love you, Liana.
Love you. Love you so much.
Love you, Liana. Yeah, love you, Liana.
In Omaha, Waverly Monroe, KETV NewsWatch 7.
You can look for new updates on this developing story as we get them in the KETV mobile app. Breaking at 5 from western Nebraska, fire kills several people. This is a photo from the scene just outside of Indianola, Nebraska. Flames broke out just after midnight at the home where a family of 4 lived. Right now, we don't know their names or what started that fire.
More news at 5 and a change to New Year's Eve plans in downtown Omaha. The annual fireworks show at Jean Leahy Mall will now be rescheduled to next Saturday, January 6th. It's due to the extreme cold that we expect that night. And we could spend the first day of 2018 below zero. Outside tonight, not as bad as what we've felt in the last couple of days. Who would have thought today's temps in the 20s would feel so good? It's crazy. Chief Meteorologist Bill Ramby is here with the upfront forecast to plan your evening.
Melissa, you're right, and it was that little bit of sunshine, too, that helped. The temperatures in the 20s and the sun, a nice combination. The sun has set. Nice view here from the Embassy Suites on 10th Street. Current temperature still above 20, 21 degrees. We're probably not going to see that again, maybe until later next week, although tomorrow won't be that bad either. Nothing on Super Doppler 7 radar. Temperatures teens and 20s, already down to 12 in Harlan. Had some sun earlier. Now clouds have spread back in. And not that bad, the cold that we had this evening and today. Some flurries late tonight. There's a chance of light snow tomorrow morning and again Saturday evening, but a brutal Arctic blast is on the way as we head toward New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. So this evening, by comparison, hey, you might as well get outside. Temperatures will be in the teens for a while with partly to mostly cloudy skies. David, Melissa?
All right, Bill, thank you. Snowy sidewalks and bitter cold temperatures. The woman in this wheelchair didn't have many options other than to ride on a busy Omaha street.
KETV News Watch 7 Sarah Feely now with the firefighters who followed behind and protected her on the road.
What is she doing out tonight?
Startled firefighters surprised to see a woman in a wheelchair going down Fort Street at 108th Tuesday night.
We were worried about her flipping her wheelchair because it was getting close, and so we slowed down. As she was doing that, a truck did not see her and almost hit her.
They decided to follow her with their lights on.
It was cold out. The most important thing was dark.
The temperature 3 below with a negative 18-degree wind chill. Crews say they watched the woman try to get on the sidewalk, but snow and construction made it impossible. All the while, cars zoom past at 40 miles an hour.
That's really a scary situation when somebody at such a low speed is in a higher speed traffic situation where they can be hurt.
Austin Rouser with Public Works says it's a good reminder to clear sidewalks of snow per city ordinance.
24 hours from when the city declares an end to major street plowing operations. So generally that's going to be in the 30 to 36 hours after the snow stops.
Firefighters getting the thumbs up from the woman as she got to her destination safely. Thankful they were there.
We were just glad that we could be there at a good time because it was something that could have been a problem. It was dark out. She just had her phone light lighting her way.
In Omaha, Sarah Feely, KETV News Watch 7.
New Husker head coach Scott Frost needs a new quarterback next fall. On Twitter today, Tanner Lee announced that he's giving up his senior season at Nebraska to enter the 2018 NFL Draft. Next fall would have been Lee's 6th season of college football. He finished this year with 23 touchdowns and more than 3,000 passing yards.
We found long lines at the Sarpy County Treasurer's office today. Many homeowners there trying to pay their 2018 property tax early. It's all because of the GOP's tax code overhaul passed by Congress and signed by the president this month. Sarpy County Treasurer Rich James explains changes in the amount of property tax deductions you can take could affect your bill from the federal government.
By paying your taxes early, you'd probably be in a lower tax bracket this year than next year. And if it saves you money in your pocket, I think that's good for the citizens.
Experts do say you should consult with your tax professional. The IRS says you must prepay before the end of the year to claim those deductions. That means you have one business day left.
Well, beer store owners who ran stores in White Clay, Nebraska are now fighting a $600,000 tax bill. Nebraska Department of Revenue says the stores owe that much and underrepresented nearly $1.7 million in sales over a 3-year period. The owners want a judge to review the findings. Nebraska's Liquor Control Commission denied liquor license renewals for those stores last spring, citing concerns about inadequate law enforcement. In Omaha, a driver loses control on snowy streets this morning, hits a guardrail and rolls. Take a look at the scene. This is around 1:30 this morning on the 72nd Street off-ramp from I-80. The driver of that car had serious injuries.
A string of robberies kept Omaha police busy last night as the snow fell. We start at the Zoo Mart on 13th Street just after 8 last night. A man pulled a gun and got money from the clerk there, then took off in a dark Ford truck. About an hour later, 3 suspects hit the tobacco hut near 103rd and Fort. One of them had a gun.
Next at 5, Alabama makes it official. The state certifies its Senate race results, but one of the candidates is trying to stop it.
Right now, rush hour traffic. A live look at the West Dodge Expressway. This is from our TD Ameritrade headquarters camera in Old Mill.
You're watching Omaha's news leader, KETV NewsWatch 7, with David Earl, Melissa Fry, and your Weather Now forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bill Randby. Live from 7 Burlington Station. This is KETV NewsWatch 7 at 5.